are done in the pig pastures, they go into the woods. And the forest needs the same thing. What we're trying to do is mimic what 2 million head of buffalo would have looked like when they marauded through the trees with their horns and their wallering and their hoof action, being chased by wolves or Indians or fire. We don't have those anymore, so we've got to duplicate it. How do we do it? With pigs. Use a very simple little nylon cordage there as a poor boy insulator, zigzag it out around the trees, turn the pigs in. And these make 3 to 5 acre finishing paddocks on acorns. And the pigs then go through, root out the brush and the starchy, the little high energy starchy woody species roots, freshen it up, stimulate the decomposition, stop the sterility of the undecomposed carbon, build soil, and eat the grubs out of the trunks of the trees that would attack the roots of the trees, and gradually thin out the trees and the forest ecology to grow forage and forbs and legumes as a ground cover underneath the canopy of widely spaced trees, so that we can get both tree growth, lumber growth, and forage growth at the same time. It's totally win-win and doubles the amount of carbon sequestration and solar energy we're capturing, converting into biomass with the 2 tiers of plant life. Does that make sense? Okay. So when the pigs are done finishing, then they just walk home. It's like Michael Pollan said in Omnivore's Dilemma at Polyface, all the animals have a wonderful life and just one bad day. Now we go to pasture production. All right, what we want here is a perennial prairie polyculture. We don't want monoculture. All the deep soils of the earth were built with herbivores and perennials. The herbivore, perennial, and prey-predator relationship are what built all the great deep soils of the world. And so we look at that and we say, well, how was that done? Are there principles there that we can mimic? Because, let me admit right up front, cows have done a lot of damage. Do we agree? But you know what? The damage, don't blame the cow. And for those of you who think the cows are making methane warming the globe, remember that 600 years ago there were way more herbivores in North America than there are today. Also remember that when a cow makes methane from that grass, it's exactly the same amount of methane that's emitted if the grass just decomposes and rots by itself. So all this unused land out here that's just growing and dying and growing and dying, the same amount of methane is given off there as if you put it through an herbivore. And if you put it through an herbivore, look at the advantage you've got. Milk or meat, or both. And so we look at this and we say, well, so how does this relationship work? What are the principles here? There are 3 principles, and I have them nice, carefully alliterated so you can remember them. Number 1, they're moving. When you look at the wildebeest on the Serengeti, the Cape buffalo in Botswana, they're moving. They don't stay in the same place, do they? They follow weather patterns. They stay away from the flies. They're moving. Second thing is, they're not spread out all over the Serengeti. They're mobbed up. Who can tell me why? Safety, thank you, yes, because the camera pans over into the edge of the bushes and there's a lion or a cheetah or a leopard, right? Okay, so they're mobbed up for protection, and that mobbing does 2 things. It makes them walk very aggressively and carelessly across the landscape, which shreds and chips the undecomposed and uneaten carbon into the soil surface, where the soil biota can reach up and nibble on it and convert it into organic matter. And it makes them graze very aggressively so they don't have such a finicky selective appetite. See, cows like their ice cream better than liver and onions too. I don't know about you. I'm a very discriminatory ice cream eater. I only eat ice cream if I'm alone or with somebody. It's the only time I eat it. Well, cows are the same way, and they always eat dessert first. And so these herbivores graze aggressively in the mob, and so they graze less selectively, and they eat a much wider variety of plants. They become equal opportunity plant munchers, as opposed to discriminatory plant munchers. And I think most of us would like to have equal opportunity instead of discriminatory. Okay. And then the third thing is they're mowing. They're not eating dead cows. You know, I think it's pretty amazing that the U.S. which took farmers like me for 40 years to Texas steakhouse restaurants to give us free meals to show us the new science-based technology of feeding dead cows to cows, now 40 years later is trying to position itself as the repository of food safety. I mean, the outfit gave us mad cow, now they're trying to say, we want to protect you from it. It's pretty disingenuous. If you haven't figured it out, I don't have much regard for the U.S. Anyway, all they've tried to do is put me out of business, so I just, forget it. So what you've got here is mowing. They're not eating corn. They're not eating dead chickens and chicken manure like we're feeding in the Shenandoah Valley. They're not feeding grain or silage. They're mowing. So we've got mobbing. We've got moving, mobbing, mowing. All right, class, say it with me. Moving, mobbing, mowing. All right, you just made an A. All right, so all we're doing now is taking those three ideas, those natural things, like a template, like a boilerplate, and we're cutting out around it like a pattern. We're laying it down on a commercial domestic production model and saying, how can we most closely approximate that? So that's what we do. We move these cows every day to a new spot using the high technology of modern electric fencing. I'm not a Luddite, okay? We use technology, but we want to use technology that enhances and massages the natural principle, not just disrespect, adulterate, and prostitute the natural principle, but rather use it. So we move the cows every day to a new spot. It's very, very simple infrastructure. Again, lightweight, simple, gentle. I mean, if you're driving down the road, you can't even see it. It's not like erecting a big wooden physical board fence. This is what you see. If you're driving 60 miles an hour, you don't even see these fences, all right? Very light footprint, gentle stuff. The cows become very docile and easy to move. You can put a piece of baler twine down the side and they think it's electric fence. It's very, very simple. So we're making and unmaking paddocks every day. Now what happens in the dormant season when you have a drought like this in August or when it turns cold? All right, so we stockpile this forage ahead of them, and here we are putting 100 head in a 1/4 acre per day. So you can see here, that's what it looked like 24 hours ago. Here's what it looked like 24 hours later. Look at that accumulation of biomass. What this does is, since grass grows in a sigmoid curve, we're wanting to graze that grass up here after its blaze of growth, its juvenile growth period, because that is when it has most efficiently and efficaciously accumulated the greatest amount of biomass related to time. If you just leave those cows in there and they just keep that grass nipped short all the time, the grass never gets out of diaper stage. We want it to go through juvenile and catch it before it turns into nursing home grass. Okay? We want to catch it at midlife. All right? And when it has reached that physiological, complete physiological potential. So those cows become that carbon converter. All right? Just to drive the point home, upper picture is Cape buffalo and lions in Botswana, South Africa. Low picture is cows and electric fence in Swope, Virginia. You see the biomimicry? Okay? So that's the idea. And this can be done in the winter. Here we are in February. You see the snow with 80 cows on ½ an acre a day. Here we are in August with 450 cows on 1 3/4 acres a day. This is called mob stocking, herbivorous, solar conversion, lignified carbon sequestration, fertilization. And if all the cattle in America were run this way, in fewer than 10 years, we would sequester all the carbon that's been emitted since the beginning of the industrial age.